listen to me. This ain't just another speech. This ain't no cute little message. I need you to hear me with your soul, because what I'm about to say, it might just save your energy, save your focus, save your life. You've been running around telling everybody your problems, crying on the phone, posting your pain online, hoping somebody's gonna care, hoping somebody's gonna rescue you. And I get it. You're hurting. Life hits you. You tired. You feel like you're carrying the world on your back. But let me tell you something. The more you talk about it, the deeper you sink in it. You think they care? You think they losing sleep over your struggle? No. They got their own demons to fight. They got their own mess to clean up. And while you talking, they moving. While you venting, they winning. So I need you to stay with me all the way through this. Because I'm not just going to tell you to shut your mouth. I'm going to show you how to get your power back. I'm going to teach you how to take that pain, that stress, that pressure, and turn it into fuel. But only if you lock in right now. This ain't for the weak. This speech is for the one who's ready to level up, for the one who's done crying and ready to conquer. So if that's you, strap in. Because by the time I'm done, you're going to stop talking about your problems and you're going to start solving them like a beast. You keep thinking if you just tell somebody, if you just open up one more time, maybe this time they'll get it. Maybe this time they'll understand you. Maybe this time they'll care enough to help you fix it. But I need you to hear me right now. Most people don't care. Not because they're bad people, not because they want to see you fail, but because they're drowning in their own mess too. They got bills, they got anxiety, they got childhood trauma they never healed from, they got dreams they've been burying for years because life hit them too hard. So when you show up broken and pouring out your soul, it's not that they don't hear you, it's that they don't have space for your pain because they still haven't made room for their own. You think you're opening up for connection, but what you're really doing is giving away pieces of yourself to people who don't know what to do with them. They smile, they nod, they might give you a quick stay strong or you got this, but you walk away still heavy, still empty, still hoping somebody somewhere will finally listen deep enough to fix what's broken inside you. But the truth is, that fix, that healing, that peace you looking for, it doesn't come from somebody else's attention. It comes from your decision. Your decision to stop chasing comfort and start building strength. You can't keep casting your pearls before people who don't even value their own. You talking to people who can't even handle their own emotions and you expecting them to carry yours? Come on. You expecting people who quit on themselves to cheer for you? You expecting people who never went after their own calling to support yours? Let's be real. They don't have the capacity to care the way you want them to. And you're exhausting yourself trying to squeeze water from a rock. You're wearing yourself out, hoping someone's going to validate your pain when all they've ever done is ignore their own. So you know what happens? You get bitter. You get disappointed. You start believing that maybe you're too much. Maybe your pain is too deep. Maybe your dreams are too unrealistic. Maybe you just not good enough. But the real issue ain't that you too much. It's that you're giving too much to people who ain't even qualified to hold a conversation with your purpose. I know you want someone to see you. I know you want someone to recognize the hell you've been through. I know you want someone to applaud the fact that you're still standing after all that trauma, all that betrayal, all that pressure. But listen to me. The applause ain't coming. The validation ain't coming. And that's not a bad thing. That's your sign to grow. That's your invitation to rise. Because the moment you stop looking for understanding from people who are spiritually deaf is the moment you begin to hear your own voice clearly again. You don't need more pity. You don't need another person patting you on the back saying, poor you. You need discipline. You need clarity. You need focus. You need to realize that every second you waste explaining your problems to people who can't help is a second stolen from the work that can actually change your life. They don't care because they don't have to. They're not living your life. They're not walking in your shoes. You're the one waking up to the pressure. You're the one staring down the goals. You're the one facing the trauma, the debt, the dysfunction. So guess what? You're the one who has to grind through it. You're the one who has to make the decision to rise. You're the one who has to wipe your own tears and keep pushing forward when it feels like nobody sees you, because nobody is coming. And that's not something to fear. That's something to fuel you. Stop waiting for help and become your own hero. Stop crying for understanding and build a foundation that doesn't need it. Stop giving your energy to conversations that don't feed your purpose. Start doing the work. Start turning that pain into discipline. Start turning that heartbreak into hunger. Start turning that disappointment into direction. Every no they gave you, use it. Every time they ignored you, use it. Every fake friend, every ghosted call, every moment you felt invisible, use it. Not to hurt them, not to prove them wrong, but to become so strong, so locked in, so consistent that you don't need them. You've been explaining your pain to people who never earned your vulnerability. You've been sharing your storms with people who wouldn't even offer you an umbrella. You've been looking for help in places that were never meant to be your shelter. It's time to stop. It's time to get quiet. It's time to get focused. It's time to get dangerous. And you know what happens when you stop sharing your problems with people who don't care? You get time back. You get mental space back. You get your power back. And suddenly you start seeing things clearer. You stop worrying about who's watching and start obsessing over what's working. You stop posting about the pain and start preparing for the promise. You stop talking and start executing. You don't owe the world an explanation. You owe yourself elevation. So from now on, stop talking about it and be about it. Don't tell people your problems. Show them your progress. Every time you open your mouth to complain, you're giving your problem more power. I'm not saying you don't feel pain. I'm not saying the pressure isn't real. I'm not saying life hasn't hit you hard. But every time you keep repeating it, every time you keep venting, posting, whining, you are feeding the thing that's trying to break you. You're not healing. You're rehearsing. And when you rehearse pain, you relive. You lock yourself in the same chapter over and over and call it coping. But it's not coping, it's becoming your identity. See, we've been taught that talking about it makes it better, that getting it off your chest will lighten the load. But what they didn't teach you is that talking without changing does nothing. Talking without action is just noise. Telling everybody what's wrong doesn't move you forward, just keeps you anchored to where you are. You keep thinking that if you say it enough times, maybe someone will fix it. But life doesn't work like that. Words without action don't create change. They create comfort zones. And comfort zones don't build warriors. Every time you complain about your situation, what you're really doing is giving yourself a pass not to change it. You're reinforcing the idea that this is just the way it is. You start adopting a mindset that says, I'm stuck, instead of I'm growing. And what's dangerous about that is you start believing your own narrative. You start believing that your struggle defines your ceiling. You start walking like a victim, talking like a victim. You become so used to the struggle that you forget you were built to rise. You're not a victim, you're a survivor, you're a warrior. But you can't wear that identity until you stop rehearsing weakness and start stepping into strength. That means no more telling everybody how hard it is. No more giving energy to the breakdown. Give energy to the bounce back. Give energy to the comeback. Start telling yourself the truth, not the story of how bad it is, but the story of how bad you want it. The story of how far you've already come. The story of what you're capable of, not what you've been through. You're not broken. You're becoming. And the only way to finish that transformation is to stop putting the spotlight on what hurts you and start putting it on what's building you. Speak life, speak strength, speak purpose, speak movement, because complaining might make you feel better for a moment, but commitment will make you better for life. And if you really want to change your life, stop talking about what you're going through and start becoming the person who gets through it. Your energy is not unlimited. I need you to catch that. You walking around like you can just give pieces of yourself away every day and still have enough left to build the life you want. But let me tell you something. Your energy is a currency. It's valuable. It's powerful. It's your most sacred resource. And you out here spending it on conversations that don't feed you, people that don't believe in you, and situations that don't serve your future. You keep giving your energy to people who ain't earned access to your space. You keep entertaining opinions from folks who've never built anything, never sacrificed for anything, never fought for anything. And you wonder why you're drained. You wonder why you wake up tired even after 8 hours of sleep. It's because you've been leaking energy, giving it away in text threads, DMs, vent sessions, calls, arguments, comments, trying to be understood by people who don't even understand themselves. You're wasting your fire explaining your vision to people who have never even built a dream of their own. Let me tell you the truth, they don't deserve it. They don't deserve your vulnerability. They don't deserve to hear about your struggle, your grind, your plans, your pain. You giving your story to people who see it as gossip, not greatness. You letting small minds weigh in on a big calling. You gotta stop spending your energy like it's free, because it's not. Every word, every thought, every conversation has a cost. And the question is, are you investing in your growth, or are you burning time for temporary comfort? You need to learn to protect your peace like your future depends on it, because it does. You need to guard your mind like it's the control center for your destiny, because it is. And that means sometimes you're going to have to be quiet. Not because you're weak, not because you're scared, but because not everybody deserves access to your process. Some of y'all talk too much to too many people. You sharing plans with people who don't pray for you. You venting to people who secretly hope you don't make it. You opening up to people who don't know how to hold what you carry. That's why you feel violated. That's why you feel misunderstood, because you gave the wrong people the right information. See, silence is a strategy. Peace is a weapon. Discipline is protection. You got to get serious about who and what gets your time. Every time you retell that story to someone who's not equipped to help you heal, you reopen the wound. Every time you explain your pain to someone who can't lift you, you deepen the hole. Every time you let somebody speak into your dream who doesn't even believe in themselves, you let doubt into the room. You need boundaries. Real ones, mental ones, emotional ones. You don't need to answer every call. You don't need to explain every decision. You don't need to post every move. What you need is to preserve your strength for the things that actually move your life forward. You can't fight for your future and entertain foolishness at the same time. You can't chase clarity and keep company with confusion. You can't build an empire and keep chatting with people who only know how to live in excuses. Stop thinking you got to be available to everybody. You don't. You were not created to be everybody's dumping ground. You are not a free therapist for people who don't want to change. You are not a sounding board for people who want to vent but never want to grow. You've got to be intentional. You've got to wake up and ask, where is my energy going today? What conversations am I walking into? Who's getting access to my spirit? Because if you don't guard it, they will take it. If you don't protect your space, they will fill it with doubt, fear, gossip, noise. You want peace? Cut out the chaos. You want clarity? Get away from confusion. You want power? Stop giving it away in meaningless exchanges. You got to understand that silence is not weakness, it's wisdom. Some of your greatest progress is going to happen when you stop talking and start moving. You ain't got to announce it. You ain't got to prove nothing. Let your fruit speak. Let your consistency talk. Let your discipline do the shouting. You don't need to explain why you're grinding. Just grind. You don't need to justify why you fell off. Just get back up. You don't need to defend your shift. Just move. People who value you won't need constant explanations. People who love you won't drain your energy. And people who are serious about growth will never pull you backward. So stop giving your energy to folks who only know how to take. Start pouring into yourself. Start investing in your focus. Start surrounding yourself with people who sharpen you, stretch you, challenge you, elevate you. You got too much on the line to be tired from talking. You got too much purpose to be drained from people pleasing. You got too much greatness to waste your voice on things that don't matter. So here's the move. Protect your energy, guard your mind, and give your words only to the spaces that deserve your fire. You know what I learned the hard way? That the real ones, the ones who win, the ones who grow, the ones who become something, those people move different. They don't broadcast every emotion. They don't let everybody in on their process. They go through storms in silence and come out stronger on the other side. And when you ask them, where have you been? They just smile. Because while you were busy complaining and explaining, they were building. They were evolving. They were becoming. And I need you to understand something deep. You don't need to tell people your problems when you've already decided to solve them. See, too many of us think we're going to feel better if we just keep talking about how hard it is. But life is not about waiting for someone to understand your pain. It's about choosing to rise in spite of it. The most dangerous thing you can do is keep identifying with your struggle. Because eventually you stop trying to fix it and you just learn how to live with it. You start carrying that pain like it's permanent. You start using your past like it's your passport. You show it to everybody like proof. Proof of why you're not where you're supposed to be. Why you're not who you could have been. But let me tell you the truth. That pain was never meant to be a home. It was meant to be a lesson. And lessons don't require a microphone. They require movement. You don't have to tell everybody what's wrong. What you need to do is start showing the world what's right with you. You still got breath. You still got a shot. You still got a calling on your life. But you'll never walk in it if all you do is speak about what broke you instead of building what's in you. You can't be both the victim and the victor. You got to choose. And the minute you choose victory, you realize you don't have time to explain your battle to people who never went to war. There are moments in your journey where the only language that matters is execution. No more talking, no more hoping they'll understand, no more wasting energy trying to prove how hard it's been. If they cared, they'd show it. If they believed in you, they'd support you. But they didn't. They don't. And that's your freedom. That's your sign to go silent and get serious. Because when you shift from needing approval to needing growth, everything changes. You start moving with a different kind of hunger. You start waking up with a different kind of urgency. You stop begging people to see you and start making yourself undeniable. Let them talk. Let them wonder. Let them think you fell off. Let them think you quit. Because when you come back, and you will, you're not coming back with explanations. You're coming back with evidence, results, fruit, proof. Not of what you said, but what you did. While they were gossiping, you were grinding. While they were doubting, you were developing. While they were sleeping, you were becoming. The This is what separates the weak from the strong. The weak keep trying to get sympathy. The strong turn their pain into strategy. The weak talk about how unfair life is. The strong use that fire to become unshakable. You want freedom? Stop needing people to understand you. Stop waiting for them to clap for you. Stop trying to convince them that you're worth believing in. Your value isn't in their hands. Your breakthrough isn't in their support. Your greatness isn't tied to their approval. What's holding most people back is not the struggle, it's the distraction. It's the time and energy you waste thinking, what will they think? Or do they care? Or why don't they get it? Stop asking for permission to grow. Stop explaining why you're grinding. Just grind. Let your life get so loud with purpose that their opinions go silent. You think people care about your problems? Most don't. Not because they're evil, but because they're too busy surviving their own. So stop expecting rescue. Stop waiting for validation. Nobody's coming to save you. That job belongs to you. And once you accept that, you become unstoppable. You want to know what's powerful? When they counted you out and you didn't say a word, you just leveled up. You just kept building. You just kept showing up when it hurt. You kept putting in the work when nobody was watching. You kept speaking to your purpose even when your reality didn't match your vision. That's strength. That's growth. That's what legacy is built from, not from talking, but from taking action. From deciding you'd rather show people your change than tell them about your challenge. You know what's better than telling people your problems? Becoming the version of you who doesn't have to anymore. Becoming the one who rose above it, who transformed it, who turned trauma into testimony, who turned pain into purpose. And that's not about being perfect. That's not about pretending it never hurt. That's about choosing to not let the hurt hold you hostage anymore. That's about refusing to be defined by a moment when you were broken. That's about getting up, even when it still hurts, and saying, this chapter doesn't end here. And listen, when you get quiet, when you stop giving your energy to pity and start pouring it into progress, you become dangerous. Because now you're not moved by emotions. Now you're not swayed by opinions. Now you're not paralyzed by the past. You're locked in. You're focused. You're building something that doesn't need applause to be real. Something that doesn't need confirmation to be valid. When people finally see it, they'll be shocked not by what you said, but by what you survived, by what you built, by what you became. So stop talking about it. Stop explaining it. Stop hoping someone sees what you're going through. You see it, you know it, and you're the one responsible for changing it. Don't tell people your problems, show them your power.